My favorite thing for birthdays,
Yeah,
favorite superstition, is you should eat something round.
I've never heard that one.
It's
Right, so we're ready when you are.
variation.
Anton?
Good, okay. Welcome to the September 26th, 2024 meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee. My name is Anton Malner, and I am the chair of the committee. Tonight, we are joined by Community Coordinator Brian Lafferty and the District Manager Jesus Perez on Zoom.
Just promoting Jesus now.
Okay, I see him. This meeting is called to order at 6:35 PM. Members of the public who are attending as a reminder, New York State law requires all committee members who are not able to attend the meeting in person to have their cameras on and their first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. Members of the public who are attending virtually, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Members of the public who are here in person, you can raise any questions that you have by raising your hand. If there's time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. Tonight, Ann Seligman has volunteered to take minutes. Thank you, Ann. Okay. We will now take attendance by roll call. Brian will conduct the roll call.
Thanks, Anton. Committee members, I'll call your name. When your name is called, please say present. I'll announce if there is quorum. Paige Judge.
Present.
Thank you. John Keller.
Present.
Thank you. Anton Mulder.
Present.
Thank you. Ann Seligman.
Present.
Thank you. Susan Steinberg.
Present.
Thank you. Sarah Whittington.
Present.
Thank you. Michael Ann Rowe. I don't see her. Justin Goldberg.
Present.
Thank you. With 7 of 8 members present, we have a quorum.
The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and is reflected on the screen before you. If there is no objection, we will adopt the agenda. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the agenda, please raise your hand. Seeing no hands raised, the agenda is adopted. Minutes from the August 29th, 2024 meeting were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objection, we will adopt the minutes as drafted. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the minutes, please raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the minutes of the August 29th, 2024 meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB6 website. Some ground rules. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, committee members who are here in person, if you have a question about committee business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand and I will identify you so you can speak. Committee members unable to attend in person, if you have a question about committee business, you may raise your hand through Zoom and I will identify you so you can speak. All committee members, it's extremely important that only one person speak at a time, so that members of the public watching at home can understand what is being said by each committee member. The chat function for committee members present via Zoom should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. Tonight's agenda, starting with Sidewalk Cafe license for Scandinavian Market LLC, doing business as Bjork Cafe and Bistro at 58 Park Avenue. is there a representative for Scandinavian markets available?
I saw.
I do see a raised hand.
Yes. Ulrika?
Ulrika Bengtsson.
Okay.
Hi.
Could you give us a little background about the restaurant, which I've eaten at, by the way, and why you want a sidewalk cafe license?
Thank you. We have had, we have 6 tables, 12 seats outside the Scandinavia House. And it's been very appreciated by our guests that they have an option to sit outside. We still have an older clientele, and some of them has actually said that we are the only restaurant that they go to since COVID, because they are so afraid of being inside. So that is meaningful, and but we don't want a big structure, so we basically take it out at 10:30 in the morning and we take it back in. The kitchen closes around 7:30 and we don't have lights, so when it gets dark we take everything back in.
Does the restaurant have a liquor license? Do you serve
We
alcohol?
have a wine. We
I'm
have a
sorry.
wine.
Go ahead.
We have a wine and beer, no liquor.
Okay, will you be serving wine and beer out on the sidewalk area or?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as I recall, in order to have, to be able to serve wine and beer on the sidewalk, you have to apply separately to the state liquor authority. Are you intending to do that?
If that is what is required, we definitely need to reach out to them. We have a good communication with the state liquor authority. They recently redid all their systems, and our license got lost. So we have been dealing with them on a personal level for several months just to find our license in their system. So if that is required, I will definitely reach out to them.
Okay, just a note, I think you submitted this before the end of August, but I saw someplace that the food establishment permit expired August 31st. I'm presuming you didn't renew it.
No, we did not.
You did not. So you can't.
Well,
establish-
our license is current, but we have not added that we have an outdoor that we are outdoor tables, but it's the same license that has been renewed. So the wine license that we have, that is current.
Okay, I think there was a miscommunication. You have a food establishment permit, which is separate than a liquor license. And apparently that expired August 31st.
Food established license for the outdoor seating?
No, this is
In general.
a general food establishment license.
All our
Department of Health.
licenses, as far as I know, are current.
Okay, I'm sure they are. Just noted this someplace in the application, and I just wanted to make sure. Yes, and here it is. Food service establishment permit, FSEP. It was current as the time that you submitted this request for outdoor seating. And it says expiration date August 31, 2024.
Yeah, that one has been renewed.
Okay, that's all. All I want. That's all I need to know. Does any member of the committee have any questions? I
Yes,
see Paige, you have your hand up.
I have a question. We're looking at this this outdoor cafe for the first time, yet I understand that it's already in operation. Why?
We applied when we opened in October 22, when it was different rules, and we got a permit to have outdoor tables then.
But this is a new situation.
Paige, they're operating under the temporary program, and this is during this period, people are transitioning out of the temporary program, and this application is to transition them to the permanent program.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I make a comment.
Yes,
Justin,
Justin,
yeah. I actually live pretty right around that area. Can I voice my opinion about whether it's a good idea? Yeah, so I think I think it would be good. I always think of the place to kind of sit down. You get a lot of traffic right there. It's pretty close enough to Grand Central where people walk up there during the afternoon, weekends. So I always think about having a little bit more outdoor locations. So when removing the issue, any other licensing or other issues, I think conceptually it's a good idea.
yes, Ann.
I just was gonna make a motion in support or no objection. whatever.
Second.
It's Canyon, yes, it's a wonderful institution.
Yeah.
I've been there
Yeah.
one few
I was
times.
there yesterday, so.
Yeah.
Let me pull up.
Let's go now.
No, I got poked in my.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, now the motion's been made and seconded. So we have a resolution recommending approval for a sidewalk cafe license for Scandinavian Market LLC, doing business as Bjork Cafe and Bistro at 58 Park Avenue. Apologies if I mispronounce your name. Whereas Ulrika Benson, Culinary Operations Director, and Sabina Lindmark, Principal, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on September 26, 2024. CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises and the Dining Out NYC license application process. Does the committee wish to include any comments about the physical footprint or dimensions? No. Okay. Does the committee wish to include any comments about pedestrian flow? No. Okay. And lastly, does the committee wish to include any comments about potential conflicts? No. Okay. Whereas, although some members of the committee had comments in support, no members of the community have any comments for or against as far as I can tell. We're going to give people a minute if they want to raise their hand. No. Okay, let's see. Comments. There are no modifications. Opposed. So therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representatives at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on September 26, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 recommends approval of the above referenced application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the recommendations made by the representatives to the committee. So we'll now take a vote by roll call. When I call your name, please answer in favor, opposed, abstained, or not entitled.
Okay, just so I understand, being in favor would be in favor of granting the license.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
In favor of the resolution as
Yes.
it appears.
We will send this back. So dining out New York City.
I see.
Paige Judge,
In favor.
thank you. John Keller,
In favor.
thank you. Anton Mulliner,
In favor.
thank you. Ann Seligman,
In favor.
thank you. Susan Steinberg,
In favor.
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor.
thank you. Justin Goldberg,
In favor.
thank you. And Michael and Rose. Not with us. Okay, with 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 not entitled, the motion passes.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sure some of us will be visiting you in the distant future. Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was the count? 6?
It's 7,
Seven.
0,
7,
0.
0, 0.
Mhm.
Okay, item number 2 on our agenda.
Does Ulrich understand that she's been approved? She was looking a little puzzled.
Ulrika, did you hear that?
Yes,
Good.
I think that
We're in favor.
I think she's a little frozen. Her reception is, It'll-
That's right.
Yeah, unfortunately.
but
But Sabrina is here.
but I understood it. Thank you so much. We're very happy about that decision, of course.
Right, thank you. Item number 2, new application for an on-premises license for Upper Z LLC, which does not have a trade name in its application. Is there a representative for Upper Z LLC available?
Yes,
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit about your establishment?
yes. It's
We see him.
we would like to offer liquor, wine, and beer. It's a small place. It's about 300 square feet, and also we're gonna have some table outside. Actually, one of the owners there, Megan, can you talk a little bit about this place, please?
Hi, I'm Ramon Velasquez. I'm one of the owners of Uppers LLC. We're actually doing a cafe bar. So throughout the mornings, we're going to offer coffee, pastries, bagels, and a little sense of community for the community to kind of build up the community in the morning. And then in the evenings, we want to do liquor so that we can provide it for the community as well. In this establishment.
What's that address? What are the hours? Excuse me, what are your hours of operation?
The hours of operation, the cafe, we're going to open from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. We wanted to do it a little earlier because the hospital is around the corner. And we kind of want to get the nurses and the doctors between their shifts. So they have like coffee between shifts or whatever it is they need as far as like breakfast options. And then the bar, we were going to do 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. if possible, 5 p.m. to catch the happy hour, and 2 a.m. so it's not too late for the residents in the area.
Okay, I just want to note that on your application, you said, you indicated the hours for the cafe, 7 a.m. to 6, and the bar from 6 to 2 a.m. Now you're saying you want to be open from 6 a.m. to 5 for the cafe and 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. for the bar?
Yeah, we wanted to open a little earlier, as I stated, because of the shift, the morning shift in the hospital, so that we can try and catch the doctors and the nurses. So they can either, coming in, they have their little cup of coffee for their energy or whatever it is that they need to boost their days. That's why we wanted to open a little bit earlier.
I noticed that the old coffee shop that used to be there, 787 Coffee, had an outdoor seating area. Are you intending to use that outdoor area?
We're in the works with filing for an application for the outdoor use, yes.
Okay. Now, I also noticed on your application that none of the principals seem to have owned other establishments. Have you any experience in running a coffee shop bar?
No, not a coffee shop bar. This is our first business that we're doing together. But we've been taking classes. We went to several conventions. We are sourcing a lot of this out so that we're not going in here blind.
Just an off the wall question. I see your landlord is Migdal Management. Did you deal with Jerry Migdal?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat that?
Okay, I see your landlord is Migdal Management. Have you dealt or have been dealing with Jerry Migdal?
No, I think the management might have changed because Ronnie's the new owner of the building.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I don't have any other questions at this point. Yes, Ann.
I have one, and this may actually be none of my business, but if I was reading the application right, or the questionnaire, it shows that you have a total capacity of 26, only 16 of which is inside. Well, it's just like, it's really small, but you're also talking about having live music. And it's like, where's the live music gonna fit if you've only got 16 seats? But again, that's kind of your business plan issue more than
Licensing issue.
a license issue. But what is relevant is that you also say that you'll have the windows removed until 2 p.m. till 2 a.m. And that's could be, I think, an issue
The-
for us to have. Also, it says that you live, okay, I read things carefully. It says that you do have upstairs residential neighbors, but have not reached out to them. And also I don't have the line number, which is something we should change, but there's no listed work email, just a phone number.
So
So I
just
can
to-
repeat those in order if you want.
yeah. Okay.
Hello, my name is Fern. I'm one of the partners, one of the owners. Can I answer to that question, please?
Sure.
Yes, as earlier as today, I had emailed a list of signature that we're able to collect as a watchdog petition from different residents who live upstairs in the building, and a few others in the neighborhood who showed their support.
Oh, so you have done outreach.
Yes, yes, we have done that for the past few days, and I had submitted that it's a PDF file that has a list of the names, the apartment number, and signatures as well. I'll be happy to resubmit it again if the board member had. Apologize. Say that again, please.
But can we go back to the issue of windows being open until 2 a.m. with live music?
So I don't think we'll have so when we say live music, we were planning on doing a sort of like temporary stage where we move it in and out because it is a small space. And then when we talk about live, it'll probably be like one person with maybe a guitar that not even maybe even electric, maybe something acoustic, where the noise level is kept kind of down to a minimum. So we don't plan on making extra noise or anything with any of the events that we have planned moving forward. And when we set the event space, it also includes like open mics for poetry, things of that nature, more than anything else, to be honest.
Yeah, and 14th Street is rather busy.
Anyway.
That block.
Yeah.
If there is a member of the public who
Yes.
hand raised.
Chris,
Yeah, let me just give him permission to speak. Chris, you should be able to speak.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
yes.
we can hear you.
Okay, and perhaps you could see me?
Yes, I
Yes.
see you as well.
Okay, yes, I'm a member of the community. I live 2 doors down. I've lived here a long time. This is a very fragile community right now. I think you all know about the 14th Street corridor. We have lots of problems. And I'm sorry to say I'm very opposed to a bar opening on the street. I don't know if they have a backyard, but From what I've heard, they would be in the front of the space. And I know that space, it is a very small space. And even when it was the coffee shop, there's hardly room outside for the few chairs that they used to have. We have there's a bar right across the street, nowhere. There's Hanlon's down towards First Avenue. There's Crocodile Lounge a few doors down. It's been closed recently, but I think it's going to reopen. Down from Second Avenue towards Third Avenue, right on the corner is another bar. About 4 doors down are 2 more in a row, the Beauty Bar, and I think that need is sufficiently covered in the neighborhood. I'd just like to add also, my building has been emptied. It's going to be a migrant shelter. This is just going to add to problems, and we have homeless. We have lots of problems. I don't think something like this is going to give our community any sort of help, or it's not going to lift us up, in my opinion. Thank you for hearing me.
Right. We hear your
Thank you.
concerns. Thank you, Chris.
What about the 500-foot rule? Is anything said about that?
I think that was covered in the application. Yes.
I see Paige has her hand raised.
Yes.
Yeah,
Paige?
let's get back to the windows. If I remember correctly, we do have some kind of regulations that say windows can only be open till like maybe 11 o'clock, not 2 a.m. So I really don't think this is a good idea that they think they're gonna leave them open till 2 a.m.
We don't mind closing the windows early. That's not an issue for us at all.
Okay, thank you.
Grant, is there a way to, like, can you, sorry, Nara?
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you stipulate that, like, that they have to close their window, they have to follow that?
We can do that.
Exactly,
Yes. Okay.
that's exactly how we do it.
That's good.
We agree, assuming they follow these stipulations. They agree. So you guys would be, what time does, I'm sorry, am I jumping ahead here?
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I get a sense that we're in favor of this application, but maybe with the stipulation that, what time do we think the window should be closed? What do you think? I can't,
11
Paige, do
midnight?
you remember what the time is? 11
I
PM?
think it's 11.
Okay.
Is that true on the weekends too? So like on Friday night?
Yes, I believe
Okay,
it's,
we could put in the stipulation, something to the effect that windows can't be open beyond any legal requirements.
Okay.
If
Well-
it's 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
no, I don't think there is a legal
Yeah, that might not-
requirement
No?
that.
There is a
not-
legal
none that I-
requirement someplace. There is, if you go back, we've done it many, many times about windows being open and
But that's
closed.
not, Paige, I don't think that's like legislative, that's our
It is.
policy.
It has been, Anne.
No, but is it CB6 policy or is it
Have
like?
you
New
looked
York
at have you looked at the handbook for
Look it up.
liquor license?
All right, so Paige, your your knowledge is that there is a legal requirement. That the
I think I
windows-
remember we always would, if anybody had put on their application, they wanted to be open any later than a certain time. I can even remember the places. We'd always have to tell them they could not be open that time because there was, the city has a requirement that they be closed. Especially if someone from the neighborhood has bad feelings that this is not going to be any kind of liquor license supposed to be given, that it's a benefit to the community. This does not sound like it could be a benefit to the community, having the windows open.
May I say something? May I? This is Ruben Gavin.
Yes, Ruben.
Identify yourself, please.
Yes, Ruben Gavin. is it possible to have that stipulation in place and then after maybe 6 or 9 months, we'll come back and request and see if you guys could come and the other place works, and then if we would like to extend it, we will come to you guys and request. I mean, we're willing to work with you guys.
I'd be okay with that, but I would, speaking personally, I would wanna make it a year so that we have through the whole season.
No state laws, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
this
so-
is, what yes.
Yeah, so I looked it up, I went to ChatGPT and looked it up and asked, and there's no, from what it says, there's no statewide or citywide policy for any windows. Yeah, open windows policy. as well.
Yeah, I think it's a CB6 policy.
But in this case, I think it's important to enforce that.
Yeah, but it just is, like, we can't just say whatever the legal
No,
stipulation
because there's
is.
no legal status.
There's no,
Okay.
thank you, Justin.
So, the question is then, in terms of the windows being open, what hour could we agree on that they can be open
11.
until
11 p.m.
I'm good with 11.
11?
Yeah, 11 works. How about weekend though, like Friday night? Can we extend that?
Should Friday and Saturday be midnight?
I would, well, midnight or 1. I mean, do you think 1's too late?
I wouldn't,
I think 12 o'clock.
I wouldn't go past
Okay.
midnight,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, I think those are the steps.
Is that okay for you? Like, say 11, Sunday to Thursday and midnight, Friday and Saturday?
Yes,
All right.
Do you think 11 is too late? Like maybe should we like 10:30 or so? Is that
No.
just-
Not on 14th Street.
About the residents that live in the building and this woman that's talking to us about the noise and what's going on down there. I mean, I've walked by there.
But
Those
it
streets are-
doesn't sound like it's gonna be super
Yeah,
noisy.
well, how do we know that you're only going to have one singer? And what's the, what is the amplification of the noise? I think that's important because you can close your windows, but you've got noise inside. How is that going to reverberate in the stories that are above the sidewalk cafe?
So this is Ramon again, speaking. I just want to say, again, it's a very small space. It's maybe 300, 350 square feet. So there won't be room for more than, we can't have like a huge performance there and have customers there. It's kind of one or the other. So when we say we're going to have a performance, it really, really is very low key kind of personal thing. And I also want to remind the board, Fern and I went through the buildings and the adjacent buildings, and we did collect signatures where people were okay. We told them about the entire idea about it, and they were very happy. Even the firefighters were very happy to hear that we would be opening this cafe bar.
Where are the firefighters?
I'm sorry?
Where are the firefighters? Is there?
They're right across the street.
Across the street?
Yeah.
Yes.
But one of the other things that will make your neighbors happier is if you agree, as we also stipulate, that you have in your window
Contact.
the phone number, somebody that can be reached at any time.
Yeah, that's
the
very
phone number.
doable. Yes.
And actually, to go back to your questionnaire does not have a work email in there. So if you could update that would be.
Yeah, we apologize for that. We do have a work email. Something must have got lost in translation, but we can have the work email updated, and we can have a phone number where someone can be reached at all times with the cafe.
Right.
Motion of no objection.
Second.
Okay, let me pull up the resolution.
May I speak, please?
Sure.
Yeah, this is Fern Gallen, one of the owners, and I know that I mentioned that earlier. I'll be happy to resubmit the PDF file that has the roster of the signature that we collected between the residents of upstairs and other stakeholders around the neighborhood who, by the signature in the conversation, that they are supporting what we're trying to the idea of having the liquor license and the cafe and everything else that we will be able to provide to the community in terms of opening that business. I'll be happy we submit it again.
Thank you.
We have those signatures. I believe they were submitted, Brian, correct me, like
Yeah.
relatively recent, like a few hours ago. So
Yeah,
they're
just
even,
after I did my.
They are,
Of course.
yeah, committee, they're in your Airtable.
yeah, they're in the Airtable now, so.
Yes,
do
even
wanna-
though they were not at like 3 o'clock.
Okay, resolution of no objection.
Yes, so we have a resolution of no objection for a new application on premises license for Uppers LLC. I believe you put in your questionnaire that the trade name is Uppers Cafe and Bar. Is that correct?
Yes, and also the last names, it's 2 Z's, not an S on Velasquez.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hence the uppers,
Hold on one second.
right?
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
so
Comes from-
whereas Ruben Gillen, representative, Ramon Velasquez, principal, Marilyn Velasquez, principal, and Fern Gillen, principal. You're all here with us this evening, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Great, okay. Appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on September 26th, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises and license application process. Whereas the establishment proposes to operate as a cafe and bar. And I believe you said earlier that the proposed hours of operation, you're asking now for 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the cafe? Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay. And then 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. for the bar? And that's 7 days
Correct.
a week for both.
Correct.
Great. Thank
Sorry,
you.
do we add in there the windows?
That'll
Yes.
be low.
Yeah, so the next
I just want to make sure.
clause, we can add in our stipulations. So first, whereas the establishment will close
I
its.
would probably phrase it as the applicant has agreed to.
Yes, the applicant has agreed. Thank you, Jesus. Has agreed to close its windows at 11 p.m. or by 11 p.m.
Yeah,
Fine. Yes.
Sunday to
through
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Sundays, Thursdays, and 12 a.m. Fridays and Saturdays.
Yep.
And then whereas the applicant has agreed to post a 24/7 contact phone number and email address for the establishment management. Is that
Sounds good.
good?
In a conspicuous place.
In a.
Oh, yeah, should we say in the window? Does it in the window or just a conspicuous place? That's fine.
That is easily visible to passersby. I mean, we could say in the window, but I.
Sounds like a lawyer's talking.
Yeah.
Okay, whereas one member of the community had comments against. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representatives.
Since it may be relevant to the 500-foot hearing, it may be advisable to add a little bit of detail as to the comments against, had comments against relating to concerns about the number of bars already in the vicinity.
Yeah. Thanks, Jesus.
Thank you. The number of bars in the vicinity. Okay. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representatives at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on September 26, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representatives to the committee. And then our standard disclaimer, just that if anything differs between what was presented here this evening and the SLA application, then we urge the SLA to deny the application. I'll now take vote by roll call. When I call your name, please answer in favor, opposed, abstain, or not entitled. Paige Judge.
Jane.
Thank you. John Keller.
In favor.
Thank you. Anton Mulder.
In favor.
Thank you. Ann Seligman.
In favor.
Thank you. Susan Steinberg.
In favor.
Thank you. Sarah Whittington.
In favor.
Thank you. Justin Goldberg.
In favor.
Thank you. Okay, with 6 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 abstention, and 1 not entitled, the motion passes.
There's the one, somebody said not entitled.
None, no, 0.
Oh, I thought you said.
So I thought I heard
I'm
one
sorry.
also.
6 in favor, 0 opposed, 1 person abstaining, and 0 not entitled. Apologies.
Yeah, little person. So.
Well, thank you very much. Good luck at your enterprise.
Thanks. Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Number
Great.
3. Only 3.
I know, crazy, right?
New application and temporary retail permit for an on-premises license for semicolon Third Avenue Corp. Doing business as to be determined at 516A Third Avenue. Is there a representative or representatives?
Yo, Fern, am I tripping or did we just get the liquor license?
Mr. Young Park?
Yes. Hello. Yeah, that'll be. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
representing Silicon Cafe. It's.
Okay, I am also here at JU. I'm the representative. And I just want to let you know that I tried to go on Duo. It is Android, but it won't let me connect it. So I turn on the computers and then I'm talking over the phones. So please excuse me.
Okay,
No worries.
no problem. Could you please give us a little background on the establishment?
Yes,
Yeah.
I will. Let me give a first, and then Mr. Park is going to give you some more detail. We are applying for the on-premises liquor license, and their place had a liquor license previously, and Mr. Park is the manager. And also, it is a cafe serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the location has about 1,200 square feet on the first floor, about 400 square feet on mezzanine level, and 600 square feet in basement. And it has about 14 tables and 30 sittings. We don't have any customer bar, it just have a service bar. Operating hours is 7:30 a.m. to 12 a.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and 7:20 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. We have a background music on, and
Wait.
we don't have any outdoor sittings.
All right, just for point of clarification. 7:30 to 12, Thursday through Saturday. Then on the application it said
Yeah.
7:30 to 5, Sunday through Thursday. So Thursday seems to have two different closing times.
I'm sorry, can you, Mr. Pa, I think I made a mistake.
Yeah. So Thursday should be closing at 12 a.m. and then it should be Sunday through Wednesday that we're closing out on at 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
All right.
Yeah, no, that was mine. I had the same, it's like, what, Thursday? Do we just get another day?
Anyway, we interrupted you. You may continue.
No, I'm almost done. So, if you have any questions, and we will be ready to answer.
What are you going to name your restaurant? I see from the old Google Maps that the restaurant there is called Semicolon. And your corporate name is Semicolon Third Avenue Corp. What is your trade name going to be?
Yeah, so our idea is that we want to do something fun, like a restaurant without a name. So we would keep the whole semicolon plate there, and then we would operate as semicolon, but after hours it would be just like a hidden place that is extended from the cafe in the morning.
What kind of food fare are you going to be serving?
So it's extension of the cafe, so it's the same food that we're serving at the cafe, like the sandwich, as well as other small snacks.
Yes, Justin.
Yeah, so I actually, I walk down there all the time, and I've gone in quite a few times. And it's a really good place, and people like really enjoy going there, so
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. It's what?
it's a good place, like it's
Oh.
people.
Got a good vibe.
It's a good vibe, yeah. And people will be like, people will like, let's go meet, let's go to Semicolon, so I think everything I've seen from them has been positive, so.
I think, John, you have a question?
Yeah, just a clarification. You said you had a mezzanine level and the picture shows, that's not upstairs outdoors, correct?
No. So if you
Okay.
can imagine, right behind the sign, there's like a stairway going up to it, and then
Got it.
And then, I see a member of the public appears to have their hand.
Okay, we have a member of the public.
Let me just. Mr. Brady.
Oh, I saw his name.
I saw Sean Brady.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should be able to unmute now.
There he is, right?
Okay, sorry, I had to be promoted to be able to speak. I'm actually, I joined the meeting because I'm from the Gramercy Park neighborhood, from the Gramercy Park Block Association. I plan to be speaking on item 6, but I just happened to see this application process while watching your meeting, and this is quite a nice establishment. It's not in my neighborhood, but I have been up there. It's very nice, and so just as a member of the community, not exactly representing the whole Gramercy Park Block Association, I just would like to throw out a bit of support for this application. I also like the hours. It's the kind of, the hours are not suggestive of a late night shot bar that's going to cause problems for the community. This is the kind of place we'd like to have in our community too.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your comments. Do I see any more comments? Do I hear a motion of no objection?
Motion.
No objection.
Yeah, who got it in
Second.
first?
Let John
I'm
take
going
that.
to.
I'll do the second.
That's why I was holding back.
Okay, I will pull up the resolution. So we have a resolution of no objection for a new application and temporary retail permit on premises license for Semicolon Third Avenue for doing business as Semicolon. I got the trade name correct. At 516A Third Avenue. Is that the correct trade name? Just to confirm?
yes.
Great. Thank you.
You have two objections in the first.
Oh, yes. That, so, whereas JU Representative, and Youngman Park Manager appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on September 26, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises and the license application process. So the establishment, if I heard correctly, is a cafe. Is that right?
Yeah, cafe and after hours it would be like extension of a cafe. So cafe is the correct term.
Okay. And I should say the establishment currently operates as a cafe. Whereas the establishment proposed hours of operation, as you spoke earlier, I believe, actually, I think this might be different. On your questionnaire, I think you put 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. from Thursdays to Saturdays.
Can you correct it to 12 a.m. closing time?
Committee's okay with 12? Okay, 12 a.m. Thursdays to Saturdays, and then 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sundays to Wednesdays. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Does the committee wish to include any stipulations? No. Okay. Whereas one member of the community had comments in support. Therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative, plural, excuse me, at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on September 26, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representatives to the committee. And then our standard disclaimer that if there's anything that differs between what was presented this evening and the SLA application, then we urge the SLA to deny the application. I'll now take a vote by roll call. When I call your name, please answer in favor, oppose, abstain, or not entitled. Paige Judge.
In favor.
Thank you. John Keller.
In favor.
Thank you. And Tom Mulliner.
In favor?
Thank you. Ann Sullivan.
In favor.
Thank you. Susan Steinberg.
In favor.
Thank you. Sarah Whittington.
In favor.
Thank you. Justin Goldberg.
In favor.
Thank you. With 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 not entitled, the motion passes.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time and good luck on your business.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Item 4, new application and temporary retail permit for on-premises license for Second Avenue Patrizia's LLC doing business as Patrizia's Second Avenue LLC at 462-466 Second Avenue. Are there any representatives for Patrizia's available?
Yes. Hi, Bruno Joffrey, attorney for the applicant. I have with me my client, Sony Gulshan, who's purchasing the business. Just to give you a little background, Patricia's of Brooklyn, located on Second Avenue, has been there for about 10 years. I believe it's in good standing. My client essentially is buying the business and plans to keep everything exactly the same. Including the name, as you can see from the entity name. He's going to keep the same management, the same chefs, the same food, the same menu, the same employees. Everything is going to remain the same. This has been a full-service restaurant, Italian restaurant, that has numerous locations now all over the 5 boroughs as well as Aruba. It's basically a restaurant that fashions itself on family-style Italian, where you go in there for a set price and get a lot of food. And it's really an experience. I mean, I personally represented the prior owner over 10 years ago for this location. I'm now representing Mr. Gulshan, who will explain his experience in the hospitality business, but it's a really great concept. It started out in the Bronx with one restaurant, and now there's, I believe, over 10 throughout Florida, New York, Aruba. And the concept itself does very, very well. I know that the customers have been extremely satisfied with this type of concept. So if there's anything that you want to address, I'm happy to, but I think this will be continue to be a great asset to this neighborhood.
Patrice, this is not, how should I say it, like a franchise.
It's not a franchise like you go and buy a franchise like, you know, Shake Shack or something like that. No, not at all. It's privately owned. It's not a franchise, but there are many locations and owners similar owners in a lot of the different locations. So Mr. Gulshan's coming in to not a franchisee or anything like that, but to buy this particular private restaurant that has many other locations.
Okay. Actually, I've been to your location a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, when I went for pizza, the oven wasn't working.
Oh.
So I'm sorry.
We'll make sure that doesn't happen.
Yes. No. Anybody have any?
I just want to know what the cross street was.
I think it's
20 something.
26. Yes. Yeah. I think it's 26th, is it?
Okay, thank you.
26.
I'm curious, since everything else is staying the same, and this could be a question just from my own ignorance, but why isn't this a license transfer rather than an application?
It is. It's a transfer in a sense that they're applying for a temporary retail permit.
Okay.
They're not buying the assets they're not buying the stocks of the corporation. This is a new entity that's going to be buying the assets of the existing entity. So it is a transfer.
Okay. On
So
the SLA application, it says new application. And again, this may be, it may be a technical understanding, because I thought there was a way to just like basically apply for like transfer a license from one corporate entity to another. And so I'm wondering,
yeah, you can't do that. But what I did do is I checked off the box on the notice that this is a new application, but also applying for a temporary retail permit based upon buying the assets. So the way you can't transfer one license to the other, the only way you'd be able to do that is if you bought the shares or the interest in the existing LLC. It's not, but it is essentially.
if you were buying the whole LLC.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for the education.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Anytime.
You'll be applying for a separate license for the outdoor area?
We're not applying for outdoor.
I'm sorry?
I believe we put down on our notice, we're not applying for outdoor.
Yeah.
If we do, I know the original application didn't have it, and then with COVID, I believe, they allowed it. But if we do decide to do the outside, I mean, obviously these months right now are probably, it's going to start getting colder. There's not going to be a need for it. But if we do decide to do it, obviously we'll come back to you on an alteration.
Okay, because obviously if you're serving alcohol inside and somebody decides to sit outside, you have to be licensed to have that person. Yes.
Of course. Yeah, well, if that should happen, we would put it on the, we would come before you guys again if we need to do that. But the original application, I'm looking at it right now because like I said, I represented them on it. There was no outside use. The only use came about with the outside is when COVID and they allowed the, emergency outdoor use pursuant to the Department of Transportation. They started using the outside. Now, we understand that if we want to go for the outside, we have to apply, go through Department of Transportation for that as well, or the sidewalk committee with you guys. So they understand.
Right, through Dining Out New York City.
Yeah.
Any raised hands, any comments further?
I just think it's nice, they had the reduced fare for the college kids in the neighborhood. I thought that was very nice.
Yeah, they do a lot of nice stuff there, a lot of programs and things like that.
Good. Do I hear a motion with no objection?
Somebody else should do it.
Justin.
Motion of no objection.
Second.
Somebody's family is on the line.
Let's stop this here. Here we go. Okay, so we have a resolution of no objection for a new application and temporary retail permit on premises license for Second Avenue Patricia's LLC, doing business as Patricia's of Second Avenue at 462, 466 Second Avenue. Whereas Bruno Joffrey, Esquire Attorney, and Sony Bolshan, Principal, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on September 26, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises in the license application process. Whereas the establishment operates as an Italian restaurant, whereas the establishment's proposed hours of operation, according to the questionnaire, were 12 p.m. to 12 a.m., 7 days a week. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Does the committee wish to include any stipulations or comment? Okay. And I don't believe any members of the community had any comments on this.
Do we still have anybody that's?
Do we still?
Community members that are with us?
Yes, there are community members here. If anyone wishes to raise their hand and express an opinion. See any hands raised? Therefore be resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representatives at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on September 26, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representatives to the committee. There are standard disclaimer that if there's anything that differs between the SLA application and what was presented this evening, then we would urge the SLA to deny the application. We'll now take a vote by roll call. When your name is called, please answer in favor, opposed, abstain, or not entitled. Paige Judge.
In favor.
Thank you. John Keller.
In favor.
Thank you. Anton Mullner.
In favor.
Thank you. Ann Sullivan.
In favor.
Thank you. Susan Steinberg.
In favor.
Thank you. Sarah Whittington.
In favor.
Thank you. Justin Goldberg.
In favor.
Thank you. With 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstaining, and 0 not entitled, the motion passes.
Well, thank you and good luck, and make sure that pizza oven is operating.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, you as well.
Bye-bye.
On 5 applications for class change
Yeah.
to an on-premises license for premises license for Foshimi Incorporated, doing business as no trade name yet, at 165 East 33rd Street. Is a representative available?
Ms. Lynn, I believe you should be able to.
Hello,
unmute.
hello.
Hi.
Yes, this is Li Yunling, yeah, the owner of the Foshimi.
How is it pronounced?
Li Yun, Liyun, last name Lin, Lin.
Now, what is the name of the establishment?
Restaurant, sorry, the Fosimi.
Fosimi?
Fosimi, yes.
Okay. All right, so you want to change your license from the wine beer cider to liquor wine beer cider?
Yes.
Okay. I have a question on the questionnaire. There was a blank place where we have a question if, has any of the principals ever had a liquor license revoked? Is that just an oversight?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Could you say that again?
All right, on our questionnaire, there's a question that asks if the principals or the owners have ever had a liquor license revoked, that is taken away.
No.
Okay. So we'll change that on the, I didn't think so. Could you tell us a little bit about your restaurant?
Yes, this is like a Vietnamese restaurant, like the kitchen, like more like a Vietnamese kitchen, and we have a sushi bar. Then currently we have a wine, beer, sake, but it's not enough for our customer. A lot of customer like they rather have a like cocktail stuff like that. So that's why we try to to get the legal license, so that maybe to please our customers, because they really like our food. Sometimes they have to come here eat, then go to the bar. It's inconvenient for them. So we really would like to have can get approved to get the legal license. Yeah.
I have no further questions. Does anybody from the committee have a question? Yes, Ann?
I noticed, and I'm trying to look on my phone, but I saw what I was looking at before, no contact information.
Oh, I missed that.
Again, I wish we had a line number so I could say.
Yeah.
Right? Susan, you with me?
I am.
Okay, I would suggest that
If we can just get that
they
updated, like, can you
send a
look at
revised
that, like,
application.
yeah. I'm sorry, Lynn, I'm not sure if you heard that, I was sort of muttering, but in the questionnaire that you filled out, we asked for contact information, phone number, and email address, and there was nothing in that space.
Oh, can I tell you now? I'm not sure the agency did that for me or didn't fill it out. So I can give you my email address, my phone number.
Resubmit. It would be
Yeah.
better if you resubmit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Take those
recently.
Yeah, it won't change what we vote on tonight, but we need a corrected application.
Okay. I will let her know. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I see John has his hand raised.
Yes, John.
Yeah, I noticed it looks like there's a apartment or residence above the restaurant space, if I'm looking at the video correctly. Have you talked to those people, or are they okay with the bar here?
They are all young people, and the cast right next to us, and they open even late, very late. And I think they are okay with it. Nobody complained that, it's like all the neighborhood, the customers are very nice. I didn't see, like, we have been open for about 2 years. I didn't see any drunk people, stuff like that.
Okay, been there 2 years, and just I think I would just like to repeat what we said for the earlier applicant, that there be a visible contact information in the window, so that if anyone has an issue, they know who to call or keep.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Motion of no objection.
Wait. I just want to make a comment. I have my hand raised. For one thing, the thing about apartment being upstairs that's a very block that has many food establishments that have liquor licenses. That's not a bar, that's a restaurant. I just want to clarify that. I don't want people to think that like the other ones that we were talking about, it could cause problems with the neighbors. If it's
Yeah,
been there, apparently we have not had any complaints.
yeah, it's like restaurant serving the hot liquor, that's it.
I agree with you. I mean, I don't see why that would have come up.
Thank you, thank you.
Motion made and second.
Yeah, I made the motion.
I think I seconded.
You did. I even have it written down.
Nice. I will pull up the resolution. So we have a resolution of no objection for a class change on premises license for Oshimi Inc. No trade name, or is it just Oshimi? The
Yes.
trade name?
Yes.
Oshimi.
Cosimi, yes.
Okay, at 165 East 33rd Street. Whereas Leon Lynn, principal, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on September 26, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises and the license application process. Whereas the establishment operates as a Vietnamese restaurant and sushi bar, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. And whereas the establishment's hours of operation are Sundays to Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. and Fridays and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
Whereas the applicant agreed to post in a conspicuous place management contact phone and email address.
Yes.
Okay. Whereas no members of the community had any comments for or against, therefore be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on September 26, 2024, pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee. And there's a disclaimer that if there's anything that differs between what was presented this evening and the SLA application, then we would urge the SLA to deny the application. When I call your name, please answer in favor, oppose, abstain, or not entitled. Paige Judge.
In favor.
Thank you. John Keller.
In favor.
Thank you. Anton Mulliner.
In favor.
Thank you. Ann Sullivan.
In favor.
Thank you. Susan Steinberg.
In favor.
Thank you. Sarah Whittington.
In favor.
Thank you. Justin Goldberg.
In favor.
Thank you. With 7 in favor, 0 opposed, no abstentions, and 0 not entitled, motion passes.
Thank you very much, Lynn, and continued success with your restaurant.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, item number 6, application for a class change to non-premises license for Parajuli and Brothers Incorporated doing business as Sati at 216 3rd Avenue.
Sorry, is this number 6?
Number 6. There's a representative for Parajuli.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Michael James, I'm representing Sati, Parajuli and Brothers, Inc. I represented them on their initial application in 2019 for a beer and wine license, and now they are upgrading to a full liquor license for this location. The hours of operation are, I believe, 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. It's a family-friendly restaurant. Really good food, and they've had beer and wine for a few years now, and then have that under their belt, and now are upgrading to full liquor. Obviously, not obviously, but obviously the market has changed, and they have to be competitive and gain and stay with the market to raise their margin. They've operated with no issues. It's really a family-friendly restaurant, and they're looking to just expand the offering in that arena. So I will defer to the board of any questions you may have on the application or the operation.
Okay, brought to my attention today, the office received a letter from Gramercy Park Block Association, basically supporting Southeast application for a class change to non-premises liquor license. And spoke very favorably about them. So, do we have any comments from members of the committee or from the?
So you said that's from Gramercy Park?
Block Association.
Yeah, Gramercy Park and Block Association.
Mr. Sean Brady
Mr. Sean Brady, who's the,
Yes, thanks. So I'll just say, since you got the letter, it has everything in there. If you don't mind, could I take 10 seconds just to introduce myself? Because I think Paige is the only person who was on this committee the last time that I was in front of the committee. But there was a solid 5 or 6 or 7 year streak where there was something relevant to the Gramercy Park Block Association before the BASA, as it was called, committee, almost every meeting. And so I had a practice of going to all the meetings when they were in person. We had a great collaboration with the committee. Then we had COVID. And in addition to that, there's really been nothing on the radar screen. I've been watching every month. I've been checking your agenda. And there was nothing that appeared that was either very negative or even very positive for our neighborhood. Most things on your agenda almost everything was for something outside of our direct neighborhood interest. And this is really the first thing to pop up in a couple of years at least. And this is one that everybody in our community knows very well. The restaurant is spoken of very highly. Service is great. They're a good operator, just as their attorney said. They have caused no problems. This is the kind of place that you like to have in your community. It's a place where you go and you meet neighbors. Their closing hours, Paige will remember that one of the things that I'm constantly mentioning when it comes to other applications where places want to stay open till 2 a.m. is that real restaurants have the kind of closing hours that Sathi is proposing. Whereas, the bars in the neighborhood want to stay open till 2 a.m. to catch all the students and the late night crowd. We're very much in favor of supporting real restaurants. We want them to be successful, and we'd like to have a drink when we go there. And so we want to say this is an asset to the community. I know that the community board policy is that you vote no objection rather than actual support. So I'll just say to Michael, the attorney, when you go before the SLA, because it's a 500-foot hearing, as you well know, you're going to need to show that it's not a detriment to the community, but an asset. So, please take our letter. And if you'd like us to submit a separate letter specifically to the SLA for your 500-foot hearing, just let us know, and it's going to be the exact same text, just with a different addressee.
Thank you so much for that. I just want to thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and sorry, may I just mention one thing that you may not know? I'm speaking on behalf of the 2,000 members of the Gramercy Park Block Association. So, you might have, if you were on this, or you've been on meetings before where a member of the community speaks up in favor or against an application. I hope it could be reflected in the minutes that I was here as representative of this large block association, not just one, friendly neighbor. Although I'm that too.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from committee members? Or the general public? I see, John.
Yeah, just a question. Is there a 500-foot issue here? Just a question.
By my experience with the neighborhood, you've got to have the 500-foot. If you draw a circle around really any of the blocks right on Third Avenue, you got Taqueria has full liquor right next door.
Okay.
You're gonna pick up at least 2 more bars.
It
Which,
doesn't
you know,
sound
if
like
you,
there's an issue has been raised, so that's fine. Right.
yeah, I
Thanks.
think they're gonna
Got
have to
it.
do the hearing and they're gonna have to show that they're an asset to the community. Sal Anthony's has full liquor, exactly. So you'll have to go through the process, but please lean on us as evidence in support.
Will do.
Any other comments?
Actually, I do.
Yeah.
Just when I Googled it, there's 2 Satis. Are they?
They did it.
connected?
Right, so they opened another, they expanded to a Midtown as well. So they have a new location which we opened at last year but this is the first location that we
Well. So, but it's same ownership and all that.
same ownership, same I believe the same menu that they have, but yes, they just expanded since it was just
Right.
concept, yeah.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion, no objection, yeah, no.
Oh.
Second.
Right.
Let me pull up the resolution.
See, get them going.
Okay, so we have a resolution of no objection for a class change on premises license for Parajuli and Brothers, Inc., doing business as Sati at 216 Third Avenue. Whereas Michael James, attorney, appeared before the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee of Manhattan Community Board 6 on September 26, 2024, CB6 having jurisdiction of the premises in the license application process. Whereas the establishment operates as an Indian restaurant. Whereas the establishment's hours of operation, I should say, are, and I took this from the questionnaire. But we may be able to simplify this somewhat because it looks to me from here that you're open Mondays to Fridays, 11:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah, those are the actual, yeah, those are accurate hours.
Okay, and then Saturdays and Sundays, 11:30 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Correct.
Okay. And I don't believe the committee wishes to include any stipulations. However, we, I believe, do wish to make note that the Gramercy Park Block Association
submitted a letter to Manhattan Community Board 6.
Letter.
Strongly
Letter
supporting.
of support.
Yeah.
In support.
In support of the application. Okay. All right. Could also say that whereas one member of the community
Yeah.
had comments in support.
Can you say one, not just a representative? Is it just one member of the community or more specifically?
Or
I think a representative.
A representative.
It is Gramercy Park.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's.
Because it is worth knowing, like, both.
Yeah.
That, like, both They
Well, he's
submitted a
saying-
letter
yeah, yeah,
and
he said-
showed up.
so-
Clearly,
Yes.
it's.
Don't have to strike.
Whereas a representative of the Gramercy Park Block Association spoke in support of the application at the September 2024 meeting.
You know, he made a point that there were 2,000 members, so do we want to say representative of the 2,000 member Gramercy Park Block Association?
No, letters, numbers, you don't need to spell that,
Yeah, correct.
but it should be hyphenated.
All right. Therefore,
Table hyphenation.
be it resolved that pursuant to the presentation made by the representative at the meeting of the Business Affairs and Licensing Committee held on September 26, 2024, and pursuant to all other considerations, CB6 has no objection to the application, so long as the applicant adheres to all the representations made by the representative to the committee, and a standard disclaimer that if there's anything that differs between what was presented this evening and the SLA application, then we would urge the SLA to deny the application. We'll now take a vote by roll call. I call your name, please answer in favor, oppose, abstain, or not entitled. Paige Judge,
In favor.
thank you. John Keller,
In favor.
thank you. Anton Malmer,
In favor.
thank you. Ann Seligman,
In favor.
thank you. Susan Steinberg,
In favor.
thank you. Sarah Whittington,
In favor.
thank you. Justin Goldberg,
In favor.
thank you. Out with 7 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions, and 0 not entitled, the motion passes.
Do you still Sean there? Yeah, I was gonna make a quick comment, that I think he mentioned that we haven't, or I guess Gramercy Park Block Association, like, there hasn't been much time with them interacting with us, so I think it'd be good to continue that relationship.
Absolutely.
Have you guys come on, as often as possible, so we can build out that relationship more.
Yeah, well, I will make a point of it. For the most part, if it wasn't something directly in our area of concern, I haven't joined the meetings, but now that we're kind of back in the swing of things and COVID is over, maybe I'll do that just anyway, because it's good. It's good for us to be in sync.
Not over.
Come to our full board meeting.
What is the Gramercy Park Association's area of coverage?
Our area of interest is probably a 3 or a 4, maybe a 5 block radius around the park. And so one of our big concerns, which Paige has, heard over the years, but, I'm meeting some of you for the first time. But, we were at, I would say, dozens of meetings in the past where, the various bars were proposed. Our principal area of concern that happens to overlap with this committee is 3rd Avenue from about 23rd Street till about 16th Street or so. It's not terrible now, but there was a period in more like around 2013, 14, 15, where there was just a barrage of nightlife establishments that were really not restaurants, but always came in masquerading as a restaurant. Bottoms Up was the classic one. That's a little bit north of what I just described, but that's just like the perfect example. They claimed they were going to have a Michelin star chef, and then opened up as New York's premier sports bar. But that's what we were facing. And that one got through. That one got through, but the SLA shut them down, and then a judge overturned. It was a disaster, right? But we were batting collectively between the committee and us together, I would say 900 in terms of batting back a lot of the bad operators. And the troubles were not just the nightlife, the crowds, the noise, all that kind of stuff. The highest use of any establishment on that stretch briefly was to rent it to a bar and see if they could get a license. And so rents, even compared to the rest of New York, rents went stratospheric, restaurants got forced out, dry cleaners got forced out. Everybody was coming in with a proposal for a bar. And it was a real success, I think, of our cooperation with this committee, that we managed to turn that around, and places like Sathi were able to, to afford the rent because they weren't competing with a 4 a.m. bar going to the NYU students. And now that they're in, and the neighborhood, I think, has stabilized a bit, we really want to promote those places. And, we do that by going there and we enjoy it, but also, having them, recognized as being good operators, I think is important.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Can I
We'll be
say
cooperating
something?
more in the future. Paige?
Yeah, it was very, very helpful. In those days, we had many, many problems between Gramercy Park and Second Avenue in the 50s. It was a terror zone, and Gramercy Park did a really good job in letting us know, the committee, what was going on, because a lot of the times we were not aware of most of the problems. But I wish this restaurant a lot of luck. I hope someday I'll get there.
Please do. Come by.
I recommend the food.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Good luck.
Oh, bye-bye.
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 Okay, we already took our vote. Last item on the agenda, cannabis retail dispensary license for Flintstone Cannabis Company doing business as Flintstone Cannabis Company at 820 Second Avenue. And is there a representative of Flintstone?
Where's Fred?
Yes, hey, I'm sorry. I'm right here. Hey, my name's Mike Flynn. I know it says my name's wrong on my screen. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, okay.
That's my guy set it up. That's Imran's name on there. But my name is Mike Flynn. I own Flintstone Cannabis Company. I was the very first guy to get my license in Central New York. I own the largest cannabis company in New York, all of New York. It's 13,000 square foot, and we're hoping to bring it right here to Manhattan. So
let me ask the question. 820 Second Avenue is the Diplomat Center. And I don't see where is the shop going to be?
Yeah, like the Hallmark is still
The
there.
whole market, the market's still there.
So it would be the former Hallmark. The Hallmark still is there, but they haven't paid rent in a long time, and
No, that's too bad.
yeah, it's too bad. But
That's going to be a very.
That's a giant space.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're the upstairs and everything.
yeah, there's an upstairs and everything. I know, I don't know what your take is on cannabis companies around here. I know in New York there's a bad name for them because of the gray market and everything. So the majority of the cannabis companies here in New York City are all kind of like bodega, little tiny stores. This is completely opposite. This is more like a Macy's of shopping. Like I said, my retail store in Syracuse, New York is where it started, and it's 13,000 square foot. And so we'll use every square foot of this building, and it'll be a very, very nice retail store.
I'm looking at the Office of Cannabis Management's proximity report, and I see there are places of worship within the 200-foot rule and schools within the 500-foot rule. Are you aware of that?
For that location,
yes.
I mean, we ran it through all the we did run it through all the requirements, and it met all the requirements from where, from what we checked. But if you're telling me I was wrong, I'm
looking at printout from the OCM, And the French-Japanese Educational Institution, or Lyceum Kennedy, is 351 feet away, according to them. And Aaron School, which is a K-7 school, is 408 feet away. So they both fall within the 500-foot rule. There's also places of worship, but I think maybe the Office of Cannabis Management might be a little off on this because they call the Mission of Bangladesh a place of worship. I doubt that.
It's a different kind of mission.
Yeah, they don't,
Yeah.
And there's a Peruvian mission, a mission of Nigeria, a mission of Egypt. I'm not too worried about that. And no active licenses within 1,000 feet. So the only issue I would raise is that there seem to be two schools within that 500-foot rule. And I don't understand, because this is an official website, and as I said, we downloaded the proximity report.
Excuse me?
Yes,
Okay. The Episcopal Diocese is located at the, was it the,
That's on,
second.
at
yeah,
43rd corner, oh,
46th.
excuse me, that corner of 43rd. I spoke to the bishop's office yesterday and asked, because I wasn't too sure whether there was any kind of religious thing in the diocese. I was told that there is a chapel there, and also on the second floor. This isn't around the corner where the other schools are. This is actually right across the street. There is a Lyceum, another Lyceum school on the second floor of that building.
that's the one with the hardware store.
No,
Yes.
this is on the corner of 43rd, the west. It's on the west side of the street. It's right on the corner. It's a Episcopal Diocese. It's been there for years.
That's right near the
It's on
hardware.
43rd,
right
yeah,
next
it's on
to
the south end of that.
The northwest corner. So it's catty cornered across from Hallmark. Very, very close.
Yeah. Yeah, the other way, Brian.
Plus, there's a chapel in that building. I don't know if that counts.
Right
The
there.
chapel
Yeah,
is
chapel
here,
right there.
Mm-hmm.
What's the rule exactly of the chapel, that we can't be within a certain
Can't
distance?
be within 500 feet.
The chapel?
A place of worship.
200 feet, I think. of the
200 feet
place.
is a place of worship.
That could be
Isn't it
right on
500 for
there.
the
So Mike,
500 for Chris.
tell me, what do you think?
I'm sorry, did you ask me?
Yes.
Is the school, is that a college institution by any chance?
No, it's a school.
Okay. I'm sorry, I thought we ran this multiple times and we were within all of our restrictions.
Well, I also, just as part of that, I mean, the application is supposed to include a signed and executed lease. And while the lease is there, it does not show as executed. It's, you know what I mean?
Have you executed the lease?
I do have a lease executed, yes. I do. It should have been uploaded, and
So I believe what we have was dated the
yeah.
17th of September, but I'm not sure that there's a signature at the
No,
bottom.
there was not. And also like where it's notarized, like there's no date on it. And on page 35, I admit I did not read the entire lease, but page 35 / exhibit A, it's supposed to show the premises and like a schematic of it and
Well, they submitted it.
Okay.
The schematic
But you know
is a
what?
separate document.
But you know what, on the air table, you can't like, zoom it out.
So this,
Yeah,
the diagram.
But that's not from the lease, that's a separate attachment, correct? It doesn't.
It was a separate document.
Yeah. But I mean, it's
Can I
just,
make another comment? Hi, can I
Yes,
make
please.
another comment?
Yes,
Someone had mentioned to me, and I understand the man's last name is Flynn, but they were wondering with the name, the trade style of Flintstone, that it might be a trademark infringement with the Flintstone. And has anything been ran through as far as using that name?
Yeah, I have full rights to the name. There's no, there is, it's not anything to do with the
No
cartoon
trademark
characters.
infringement.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Flintstones are Flint.
Yes.
Yeah.
like Flint.
But
Yeah.
still it's close enough and
Not the
trademark.
sound is what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's why it's a pun.
Yeah, it's clever.
We're worried about other children thinking it's a candy store.
Oh my God, do you think there are any kids that still know what the Flintstones
Yeah,
are?
nobody.
No, but I think the real issue here is the siting of the school.
Yeah, the
Everything, and I-
location.
John has his hand raised.
yes, John.
Yeah, I'm concerned about two things. One, the schools are a big issue for me. And secondly, with this size of space, I really want to understand what the security on the sidewalk is around the facility a little better. But the schools are the big issue for me.
Okay, we're fully staffed with security and we have all the most up-to-date, high-tech security systems in place. Everything that the OCM requires and then 10 times that for security.
But you're gonna have people on the sidewalk outside.
I wasn't planning on having anybody on the sidewalk. No, not at all.
We've done that with others, but okay, it's a big space. And has the OCM passed an opinion on this, especially given the schools, or not? Has
So
not done so yet?
I guess I'm gonna have to talk to them again about the schools, but yes, I have a very, very good relationship with the OCM. Like I said, we were one of the first in the state. We've got a very tight relationship with the OCM and we can probably try to work through this.
But have they
Yes.
given an opinion yet? Have they, has the OCM issued an opinion on this site?
No, there's no, they don't really issue an opinion.
Or approve or disapprove?
Well, what if we
They-
table till the next?
Yeah.
Justin, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, sorry, where did you say your other locations are? You said Syracuse and you don't, do you have locations in Manhattan yet?
Or
Or,
even in
well,
Tri-State.
okay, so where are the other
I have-
locations?
So 0 locations are open except for Syracuse. We just started this process this year. We do have over 30 locations across the state, all the way from Buffalo to Long Island. And there's about 4 of them in Syracuse to open within the next month. Rochester, 3 within the next 2 months. Same with Buffalo, Oswego, Binghamton. And yes, we do have a handful in Manhattan as well.
But where in Manhattan are they?
So right now, none of them are actually open, but pretty much west side, east side, lower Manhattan, and they're all different markets, but
Can I just
Are
mention?
the principals all from New York State? As well as having operations in New York State?
are the principals. I'm sorry, I'm the sole
Flintstone.
owner. Yep.
You're the sole owner, okay, and
Yes.
you're in New York, got it, thank you,
Yes.
got it.
Justin?
Yeah, so obviously I understand the business case for him for this, but is this in the community's best interest? To have a mega,
Make it kind of his shop.
yeah, because, yeah, I mean, there are so many in the area, like so many cannabis
they're all
shops.
They're all illegal.
The ones on the street are illegal?
Are not legal. One just opened on 45th and Second.
Oh my God, but you know what? I noticed they're closed since during the General Assembly.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm just saying, like, it's, like, conceptually, it's just it's another shop that, like, what if there might be better for the community good than that? I mean,
And
I
I
don't know what your guys'
always have a legal shop in
No, it could be, why does it have to be a cannabis shop? Why couldn't it be?
Why can't it be another Dwayne Reed?
I mean.
I mean, sorry, just
Well, they need another one
cynicism.
there because the one up the street closed, but.
Well, there is that.
So.
Of course, there's one on 44th
Okay.
Third.
So why did you, let me ask, why did you choose this location? Like what brought you to wanting it to do this here?
So it's a beautiful location and it's a store that's actually big enough for my needs. So we're not just a place to go to buy some cannabis. It's also an educational center for cannabis. We bring in the vendors that teach the public everything about cannabis, to how to use it properly, how to measure it, how to just every little thing about it. It's a very educational thing that we're doing here, and I needed something to support the educational piece of this. And we are the lead in the state, and we just needed a big location, really.
If you're having an educational piece to that, who are the educators? What's their background? What's the philosophy there?
So it's all the vendors of the state. So it's the most professional and up-to-date people that know about the products themselves and everything about the product, that can teach the consumers what each product is, how to safely go about that product, and how to use it the right way.
But you didn't answer my question. My question was, what's their background? Where were they educated? Who are these people? I get that, what you're saying with regard to what they do, but I'd like to know what their background is.
They all have different.
I'm a teacher, so,
Okay,
I'm interested in that because the kids, we have schools in that neighborhood. We also have, embassies in the neighborhood there. I think there are 2 of them. So I think there's a question that has already been posed as to what this does for our community. So if you have a sizable spaces such as this, then, these are legitimate questions.
Okay, so I know I can't tell you the education level of each one of these folks. But I will tell you that they're the most professional in the business. They actually grow the product themselves. They know everything about the product. They know more than any of us could ever know about the product. So they're really the only ones that can really explain this in detail with truth. And just so you know, too, we did over $30 million in our first year, so that we would bring in a lot of good revenue to the area. Like I said, it's not like a little bodega style business that we're running here. It's a very educational, it's more like shopping at Macy's rather than, a little corner store.
Who would you be employing?
Who would I be employing? All local residents of New York City.
I would like to make a motion, if that's okay.
Can I ask you a
Yeah,
question first? So you mentioned that you have 30 stores kind of in the works, none of them open yet. Do any of those have OCM approval yet, except your flagship in Syracuse?
Yes.
Want to elaborate on that?
I don't know the exact number for you, but I'll say at least 15 of them have proximity location protection. And our latest one is in the Buffalo News yesterday. If you'd like to Google it, we bought the MedMen building in Buffalo. We just got our protection on that. That was a big news
Again,
article.
not what I'm asking. I'm asking whether you have approval, not whether you have protection, because those are 2 slightly different questions.
Actually, it's the same question, because once you get the approval, they put the proximity protection on your site. They won't put it on there until you're approved.
Okay.
I was gonna make a motion to table.
Okay.
John, I think.
Wait, before we do that.
Yeah.
I'll be quick. Thank you. I do have concerns about, first of all, anybody who's followed the committee knows that I've strongly supported the opening of legal shops. But I have concerns about the schools, the proximity, and I'm concerned about the size of this space and considerations on the sidewalk around it. So those are concerns that I have about this. And Anne was just asking the same question I asked about the approval, so thank you.
But let me understand this, that the OCM has to approve you first before they issue a proximity protection document?
That's correct. They have to approve everything and then they'll give you your proximity protection. Once you get your proximity protection, then you have to build your store out and then they will come back in on a virtual inspection to give you the final stamp of approval so you can open your store. As long as everything checks out.
Okay. I hear a motion to table this, and I think the reason is that we need a little bit more flavor on the situation. There's 3 schools located within a 500-foot radius of this particular store. It's not that we don't want legal shops, it's just that we have an issue with these cannabis shops being within 500 feet. And yes, I know a lot of illegal ones do that, but we want legal ones to be legal.
I also wanted to add a point, I'd like to look into seeing how many, so there's a bunch of missions nearby.
Yeah.
You know, people come from around the world and this is their mission, and first thing they see is a big cannabis shop. Like I just, again, it's a community thing. I just want to consider that.
Yeah.
Like, and I want to know how, like, what is, I want to do a little.
This is not the week to ask me for sympathy for anybody have anything to do with the UN.
Yeah, but
Just saying.
it's still reflective of you know, that's what they see. So I want to understand a little bit more about like what exactly, because I don't know the streets so well, like what exactly is in that area,
Yeah.
schools, and also the cultural things, and like I said, any missions or so.
Well,
I need to find that.
And I would, Nigerian mission is right across the street.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, well, right.
And then
Mike, I would
Mexican
really,
style.
I would recommend, I think
Yeah.
that we're about to have a motion to table, which I suspect will pass. And you said you were pretty sure you had, kind of passed all those, all those concerns. So whoever told you that, maybe you want to get back to them and, see,
I get better clarity.
yeah.
Folks, there is interest from the community. There's at least 3 people from the community who wish to gain the floor. And there are a few comments in the Q&A section that may be before this is tabled or voted on tabled. Maybe it's good to hear from the community members who have waited patiently for their turn to speak.
Okay.
All right, while Brian queues them up,
yes.
While Brian queues them up, the committee can.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Go ahead, please. say
Yes,
your
we're
name.
very concerned. We live in the neighborhood and it's a residential neighborhood nearby and the schools are nearby. There's several schools that have been mentioned, the 2 schools. And it seems it's not correct that the shop owners who are there now, they've been good tenants and so forth over the years. They paid their rent during the COVID period when they didn't have to, and they still did that. So the Hallmark shop have been very good tenants, and there's no indication that they wouldn't be offered another lease unless obviously the landlord could get more money from someone else. But
Property values here.
we're also concerned about the fact that the UN would be there.
Property values are-
And I don't think it would be very good also, particularly for the property values of the people who live in the area, who own their apartments.
No one would want to come and live here.
I
When
don't
they see a
think-
cannabis shop and it's
Yeah.
decent,
It's
in this
been-
beautiful area, to destroy it
Right.
by bringing drug addicts in here, security risks, destroying the security of a peaceful neighborhood.
We're already
No, it's
being-
not acceptable. It's not acceptable.
Yeah.
People live here and this is our home. This is a residential community.
Seems absurd in life that we have on one hand, one group threatening to try and put a casino in this area. Now this trying to put a cannabis shop. This is a residential enclave. It has schools. We're trying to enjoy our neighborhood and not be constantly threatened by these sorts of Enterprises, and that card shop there, the Hallmark card shop,
been there
it's a
forever.
beautiful establishment, and we'd hate to see that go
It's
as
an
well.
anchor of the community.
It's an anchor in the community, yes. So
But I think
particularly
that works.
regarding the schools, it's definitely
It's a no-go.
a no-go as far as we can see.
No, this community cannot accept
And
it.
there is another school for, okay, it's a little it's further away, but there's a school down on First Avenue, down in the 36th Street, but that's not within 500 feet. But I'm just pointing out how this general area has become much more residential, and the character would not be enhanced by having this type of establishment in this area. It's just not an appropriate place for the shop.
I thank you very much for your comments. Is there somebody else who
Yes,
who wants to
we
speak?
have, David, you should be able to unmute. Mr. Wright?
How is that? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Okay, hi, my name is David Reef. I'm a 45-year resident of Tudor City, which is right around the corner from, it's 43rd Street. It's a landmark historic district. About 4,500 people live here in Tudor City. And I wanted to just, since I've been here 45 years, I'm fairly familiar with the neighborhood. So the church across the street at 815 2nd Avenue, which has a chapel, it's the Episcopal Church. But in addition to that, the Church Center for the United Nations is at the corner of 44th Street and First Avenue. I don't know if people are familiar with that. And then there is the other church, which is the Church of the Covenant, which is at 42nd and 2nd. So I haven't taken a tape measure to it, but it's probably within the 500 square foot. Both of those should be within the 500 square foot.
No.
Well, it's 200 feet for a religious institution.
And it has to be on the same block, guys.
Yeah.
And that's with the schools too. So that's where I think there's miscommunication. The OCM just passed, it has to be on the same block. So I don't see schools on the same block.
Okay, so the church, the Episcopal Church at 815 2nd Avenue is directly across the street. And again, the Church Center for the United Nations is on the same block going east as the Hallmark store, in my opinion. As far as, you know, people use the terms embassies and consulates interchangeably. The embassies are generally in Washington, but the consulates, this is Consulate Row
This is
here.
a mission. I apologize for the
Yeah, and
it's a mission.
This building has the Syrian mission to the United Nations. The Nigerians are the green building that you see there at the corner. And actually 802nd is filled with a lot of smaller missions for countries that, you know, have small offices. And then on the corner right there with the barricades and the blockades is the Israeli mission, where you have people there 24/7 with, you know, guns, and Netanyahu is in town today and so on and so forth. It's a very high security place. And the idea of bringing people in to come and smoke marijuana, you can also see in the picture there, you've got Remy, the coffee shop. People sit out there and have a cup of coffee, and sometimes they smoke a cigar. Well, I imagine that people would come out there and be smoking marijuana because it's legal. And I am the vice president of the Tudor City Parks, which is around the corner. And since marijuana was made legal, we have people coming over to our parks that think it's a good idea to go into the park where there is no smoking and smoke marijuana and, you know, tease the squirrels or do whatever they want to do when they're high. But they end up lying on the benches, and it doesn't bring a good element to our landmark historic neighborhood. For that reason, speaking.
Thank you very much for your comments. Mr. Wright, thank you for your comments. We're talking about location of a business in the neighborhood, not the behavior of the people who may or may not use that business. You could say the same thing for a liquor store or for a restaurant with that takeout. Thank you. Who
You're
else do we have?
We have two more members.
Okay.
I have one more, get some, I also think it is important to, as you said, there's a lot of revenue, as well. So I do think that I don't want to miss out on that consideration as well. So it's worth thinking about that.
The Harris already spoke, yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope everyone sees how important the education part is about this, and that's what we bring to the table. Like the folks that spoke up from the community, they're very uneducated on cannabis. As you heard from what they were saying, you don't lay down on park benches and mess with squirrels. That's just what's in his head. So that's what we educate people on what to really look for in cannabis, and it is a very educational purpose. Now, I did just look this up, and it is true that the OCM did pass. Those schools have to be on the same block, guys. So
Can you send us that
Yes,
reference?
because I've-
yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's on the same block. It's on Second Avenue.
Let's look at the actual language from OCM.
Fabrice?
Yeah, hi.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Thank you for tonight's meeting. I just want to weigh in just a little bit. I've been in the neighborhood for 50 years. So I've got the gentleman before me was 45 years. I know the neighborhood very well as well. We could start pulling out measuring tapes and so on and so forth, or not. The bottom line, honestly, is, and I am not against legalized cannabis or stores of the kind. I've been in them to look at. I think some of them are great. It's just that this is just not the place for something this big. There is one that just opened on 45th and 2nd, where the old cleaners.
It's not legal.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying there are so many opening everywhere. It's like a whack-a-mole game, and I get that this one might be legal. I don't know. I haven't seen the paperwork, but the space that we're talking about is just so big. This is not a quaint little store like the one. It's huge. The educational component, yes, okay. You know what? You can make an argument about that for any store, right? A liquor store, like someone said before, you go in there, can I get some recommendations, or tell me how I should drink the vodka tonight, right? Whatever. It really comes down to, this is just not the right spot for this. That's all it is. It's a neighborhood issue. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Princeton.
I will say, I don't think that we should punish, like, just because there's an illegal shop that's open, doesn't mean we should punish somebody, like a legal shop that's going through the right
100%.
process. So I wouldn't want to, I don't think that should be a decision factor. The fact that an illegal shop opened up is not really wouldn't be part of my consideration.
Yeah.
No. The consideration here is that the office of the sheriff has got to crack down even more intently than it has
Exactly.
been.
Right.
Mahesh?
Do you have any more comments?
Yes, Mahesh, you should be able to.
Yep. One more comment. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I also have been in other dispensaries and such, and I just wanted to echo what the previous guy said, that like this is more like, regardless of what the law states of like technicalities, I think the point of this is like we should be making our own decision. And again, like this is just not the right spot for this store. This store may be great in another location, but like just looking at the Google Maps, like how much stuff is around it that just does not would clash. I just don't think it makes sense. So just wanted to weigh in. Also, as like a younger person who does enjoy cannabis, I still don't think this is exactly the right spot for this store.
Thank you, Mahesh.
Yeah, thanks.
And I see there are also some it's that there, but there are also some questions in the Q&A from Ojad Basin. I'm not sure if they would like to speak, but I'll promote them.
Can we see I can't see the comments. Can we see the comments?
No.
Yeah, I won't enable me to share the comments.
The comments are from a Mr. Kuljat Bosson, and there are several of them. One is Hallmark is all current with their rent. Mr. Flynn is lying. The next one is I am the owner and my rent is current. We have a lease until 2028. From the same commenter, there cannot be a lease executed by Mr. Flynn as I have a lease that ends on October 31st, 2028. And then it goes on more about the lease. Phillips International is the management company for 820 2nd Avenue. Hallmark is current with their rent through September 2024. Mr. Flynn has lied to the board when asked why this space. Hallmark is not going to leave this space.
Well, then it's a non-issue anyway, when like how you can't, I don't understand that.
What?
Like, I don't understand how, are they gonna take it over? Like, I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and they, yeah.
I just want, we definitely more clarification on the lease situation.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, I mean, from both sides, like, I wanna understand
Okay.
who's telling it.
And, any more comments?
Kuljat Bosson, if you would like to unmute and speak.
Hi, can I make a comment? One more comment?
Bruce, I think we already heard. Do you want to go back to them?
It's just one quick following. This
Okay.
is important information.
Go ahead, Mr. Frey.
Yeah, this is important. If that's the fact, if that is actually turns out to be true, it takes a little bit of nerve to show up to a community board saying that you want to move in here, you've got all these plans, that you own 30 other spots or have 30 other businesses similar to this one, when in fact you have one in another state, but you know, hundreds of miles away.
I don't have one in another state.
In Syracuse.
I'm sorry, Syracuse. Okay, sorry, not 500 yards.
Yes,
But quite far away. You stated at some point that you had 30 locations in the works. There's only really one. You're here applying because you're implying that you all set to go. You cut a deal with this landlord. It seems to be not the fact.
No, it's the fact.
Really, is it a fact, really?
Yeah, it's a fact. And I don't understand why you're saying I have one store across the state. So we'll just forget you said that.
No, sorry, we don't have to forget. We can go.
Mr. Frey, now, thank you.
And then Mr. Kuljat Bosson, if you're on mute, if there's anything you wish to say.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So I am the owner of Hallmark. I have a lease till the 31st of October 2028. My rent is current as of September 2024, and the October rent will be paid before the 1st of October. Mr. Flynn claimed that we have not paid rent for years, so that is a lie to the board. I don't know if the question was ever asked if Hallmark is in default, and we are not. And Phillips International is the management company, and they can be contacted to confirm that we are current with our rent. So that's all I want to say. That yes, you know, we are we have a rent abatement from a landlord ever since COVID, but whatever agreement we have made, we have paid every penny of that agreement without any arrears at all. So what is presented to you is an absolute lie. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. And John hasn't raised again?
Yeah, I think a motion was made a little while ago to table this, which.
We never came up with the motion. We were talking about it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to make one last comment is that if there's one store that's open and it's in Syracuse, just point out Syracuse is a college town. It's a little bit of a different type of vibe. So I just think it's important to consider that too.
Yeah, I think until the facts are parsed out, we should table this, and this, Mr. Flynn, you should be coming back to us with a fully executed lease. If in fact that is the case, signed and notarized, and you can take your dispute with Mr. Bajan and the management company. But until now, we are not even going to consider this.
Yes,
Are
motion
we
to
in
table.
favor of this?
Yeah.
Motion to table?
Yeah, motion to
Second?
table.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Mr. Flynn.
Okay, thank you.
Committee, when this comes back next month, you guys, since it may be an intricate resolution, you guys may want to start kicking around a draft or ideas, possible ideas, and
If in fact Flynn doesn't have an operating lease that's legitimate, we won't even have to consider
Yeah.
any kind of resolution. And I think it's between Kuljat Bashan and Flynn and the management company to iron things out. On the other hand, I'd like to get a little bit more background on Mr. Flynn's assertion that a school has to be on the same block within 200 feet or 500 feet to be disqualified from setting up a shop.
Excuse me, isn't it on the same block if it's on Second Avenue? Just
Well,
across
let's
the
see
street?
the language
Yeah.
from OCM, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think the larger issue is, and I'll address this in my comments, chair's report, now it's been brought up. But any other questions or comments about this? All right. We have, and I know Jesus is does the same thing, tried to get the OCM to give or send people to answer our questions
Yeah.
about the regulations and the law. And we have seen that the regulations sometimes don't follow the law and vice versa. So the question is it 200 feet on the same street? Or is it 200 feet in a radius? We have not been.
or is it like direct line
Or
or
drive
is
you,
it
or-
like how you would
Or can
actually
it
have
be
to?
around the corner? 100
Yes.
feet? I mean,
Yeah.
We do some clarification.
we have not gotten any guidance. And in the past, there's several community boards that said that we will not even consider reviewing cannabis applications until and unless the Office of Cannabis Management gives us better guidance. And quite frankly, now we've spent probably 45 minutes on this, no resolution.
Yeah.
And we probably won't have a resolution until we get better guidance, as I said, from the Office of Cannabis Management.
Is it worth seeing if, since we are obviously not the only ones dealing with this, is it an issue to bring to Borough Board?
Great question.
That was a to.
To bring to Borough Board?
Yeah, to bring it up.
For sure, yes. Jesus, are you still there?
I am.
Yeah, I know you've been to a couple of meetings, or at least one, where this has been brought up, but it's mainly been with district managers. Has this been escalated?
I haven't heard anything about it for a while. And the regulations that are posted on the OCM website are, dense and sometimes hard to penetrate, I guess. So we can get clarity from them regarding what criteria the schools or the church or the churches need to meet. Because I've heard a few things, and it's hard to get confirmation on what is what. But we can reach out to them. We just got this application not that long ago, so we didn't have time to do as much due diligence as we otherwise would. But it just so happened that it fell in such a way that we can request an extension. Not every applicant falls that way, and so we can request some information from OCM and hopefully have it in advance of the October meeting. But we need to select the date for the October meeting because I know there was some talk about moving it from its October 31st date. So if that decision is actually going to be made, it should be made sooner rather than later.
Well, what were responses? We had problems in October, November, December. What I was actually hoping for some clarity on when they might change. So are there members that you are waiting
the
for
office,
responses?
yes, there are. I will not call them out in public because I've already
Oh,
followed up with them
absolutely.
multiple
Name and
times.
shame.
But we have, I think, received as many responses as we're going to receive. And in October, we do have a viable date. The November and December ones are marginal, but could work. We just need to decide, is it going to be these new dates or not?
It's your job.
My job. How many responses are we missing, Jesus?
We're missing, I think, 2 responses. I know for sure we're missing 1.
Okay.
But I sent you an email last week on it, so we can bump it up for you. But we can't invite anyone to the next meeting until we have the date settled. So.
Okay, so actually we were waiting for those 1 or 2 people and they haven't responded. My opinion is that we can go ahead with whatever dates we agree on. And if the people who didn't respond and don't like it, well, you should have responded. I'll get back to you. We'll get back together on this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Other than my ranting against the OCM, any older new business for any committee members to talk about?
I have something, I'm gonna do them super quick.
Okay.
So, I, again, mentioned process things, and one thing I thought about that I would love is for our questionnaire to have line numbers or question numbers.
Question numbers, so that.
Yeah, like question numbers, so we can say, oh, you don't have you should have a address and contact information
On number 14.
at number 14, so that's one process thing. And I also wondered about, I was looking at the questionnaire and I had spoken to Brian earlier today about it because I was like, is this me? Is it possible to get a link to basically a blank of the questionnaire so we can sort of do a mock questionnaire so we can see like what the options are for because we only ever see them filled out as a PDF. And so I can't, what are the options in that drop down menu, kind of thing.
Yes, I think you could send that form to all the committee members for information.
Cool, yes.
Unless you want to.
I have no entrepreneurial spirit whatsoever.
And also, Brian, we found out there was an error in the form itself regarding, there was a question, if you have outdoor space or you have an assembly area. If you answered yes, how many people?
Yeah.
The assembly area, but unfortunately, it only gives a yes or no, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, assembly, how many people? Yes.
Yes, so that was, I also, Brian was like, I'm not surprised you spotted that. You're very, and there was it was like, choose your word carefully.
Well, this might be a good opportunity for you guys to just take this questionnaire hasn't really been looked at in quite some time. And maybe see, is there a way to change it up, improve it, make it more efficient. But yes, Brian can certainly send you all the link that we send to the applicants.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Some old business.
Does this gentleman have business before the committee?
I wanted to say good evening and greetings. I'm with ADT. I'm the Business Solutions Advisor. So we provide support to small businesses in many of their security and some of the new evolving technologies. And I wanted to just come and offer my introduction and let you know of different promotions and specials that we have ongoing that you could forward on to many of the small businesses in your community and stuff. So I, as a former board member of a community board in the Bronx, I sort of appreciate the time that I know it takes in running these endeavors, but I just wanted to bring some information and be a resource to you as y'all do very important, diligent work here in the community.
Okay, could you kindly liaise with our business manager, Mr. Jesus Perez?
Okay.
And any documents, flyers, suggestions, whatever, funnel through him and we'll consider that.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And your name again is?
It's Shakimos, I'll leave a card for
Okay.
a couple of you.
And
Okay.
which, county board?
Community Board 12.
To the Bronx.
Is that Marshall?
Hmm?
Is that Marshall?
No,
Okay.
it's White Plains Road.
Oh,
Woodlawn.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I have old business.
Oh, I'm sorry,
I have
Paige?
old business.
Go ahead.
Okay, I don't know whether I don't think we have contacted the cannabis board about Smileys. They still have the table outside and people are sitting at it smoking. It was, matter of fact, it was one of their employees. And they also have their big sign. It is funny, Anne, isn't it?
No, I mean, I just walked by there too. No, I think it's funny that it's an employee.
Which where's that?
Smiley's, it's
Smiley's.
30th
6th Street?
30th Street.
Street, yeah.
30th, because there's.
I didn't think that was their table, because I walked by there the other
It
day
is their
also.
table.
But I thought it was, because there's a restaurant right there too.
Well, in my neighborhood on Second Avenue between 35th and 39th and 38th. There is a Smiley's, but it's shut down.
No, and I noticed because I noticed also it is like you can't look in the window and like they've done that kind of stuff with it here.
And they still have their bubble sign, which they're not allowed to have. Their signage is incorrect and no one has addressed that. This has been brought up in front of this committee, so I just wish we'd get in touch with the cannabis board and tell them to do their due diligence.
Jesus, have we, I know this was brought up, in the last meeting. Did we contact the cannabis board?
I'll be honest, I don't remember this being brought up, or at least not in such a way that it was like a clear action item. So if I don't know, Brian, do you have a different recollection from me?
I don't believe that, we received any like
Yeah,
follow-up
I think
after
Kevin
the-
O'Keefe brought it up.
He mentioned
He
it.
was on.
Oh, yeah, that's
on
right.
Zoom.
Yeah.
And in fact, he shared screen and we saw a picture of that table outside,
Yeah.
somebody sitting at it.
Well,
I think,
we'll look into it. Brian will note it down and we'll look into it.
yeah, I think the Office of Cannabis Management does have a website and has a place to put complaints, but the complaints are mainly about illegal shops, not about legal shops that
Right.
are operating illegally. It appears to be that this shop is operating illegally if they have signs that are not in conformance, or even having a table outside where somebody can partake of the cannabis weed. So to me, that's gotta be addressed. Maybe the sheriff is too busy closing down illegal shops.
Well, not that busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the one in my neighborhood,
What is it?
Second Avenue, it's
How do
right
these places
between.
even get it?
Yeah,
And you know, the thing that I have mentioned a couple of times, and I've asked them in 45th Street, is they, apparently a lot of them have like cats, like bodega cats.
Oh, yeah.
And they can get locked in when the sheriff shuts them down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's just to me,
It's a little sus.
it's
Right, and since
horrible.
all the product is gone, the cat has nothing to eat.
Stoned cat.
So, okay, I was gonna say that,
Yes.
I have quite a few friends that, moved to New York and then literally moved out of New York because of the illegal shops. It's just like, they're from another city and it just was too much. The smell and so it's an important thing to,
Should have been, the law is the law,
yeah.
and we have a part of this approval process. The larger issue is, like in many cases, who's enforcing the law?
Yeah.
And, there was a city council meeting this Monday. I think it was this Monday, where, was it
Before
Gail
the
Gail
indictment.
Brewer? Brought these.
Oh, yeah,
these up,
yeah.
Had the sheriff up there. And she was asking for more reporting, so we know what you've been shutting down and what maybe is reopening. And the sheriff was very resistant to that. He said, it's too much paperwork we already have to do. You know, we're talking about people's safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about children's safety.
Right,
You
because
know?
they're also not, you go into that place on 45th Street, they're not asking for ID or anything.
No, in fact, I already reported them 2 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for somebody to come and shut it down. Okay, any other business before the committee?
Good.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much.
Wait.
Longer than I usually do.
Thank you all.
I was gonna say, you just.